We recently reported on rumors that a Black Panther game may be in development. Now, the rumors started with Jeff Grubb, who is a trusted insider in the industry who has leaked countless projects in the past that we have covered and continues to drop hints about stuff to come in the future. Now, on July 24th, he mentioned that he had word of a Black Panther standalone game, which was a huge shock because despite the character's popularity, he's never gotten his own video game. And yes, he's appeared in LEGO games and other Marvel team-up games like Ultimate Alliance, but this would be the first time that we got to play as BP in his own adventure. Now, thankfully, Grubb recently elaborated on these rumors, and assuming that his intel is good, this could actually be a huge game changer for superhero video games. So you let me know what you think about this. Be sure to bookmark this video and come back if we do get an official announcement. Welcome to Video Game Leaks, everybody. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have your notifications on. Now let's go into Black Panther details. Now this new batch of intel came out on July 25th, once again from Jeff Grubb. According to him, Black Panther is currently in very early production and is being worked on by a brand new studio based out of Seattle. Now the team may not be known by most people, but it's reportedly made up of former Monolith production employees, meaning this new Black Panther game is being worked on by the same people that made Fear. That's right, Fear. If you remember that game, it was terrifying, and Shadow of Mordor, and the upcoming Wonder Woman game. Now, interesting that Monolith is working on a DC game while ex-Monolith employees are working on a Marvel project, but okay, that's how it is sometimes. Everybody's a comic book fan, so it's fair game. Now, Monolith also is based out of Kirkland, Washington, which is just 12 miles outside of Seattle, so this seems like a pretty easy move for the new team to actually make if it's true. Now, as for publishing duties, the game is currently being funded by EA, so I know that's probably bad news for some people depending on who you are, but then again, EA has more or less been cleaning up their act with games like Jedi Fallen Order, Apex Legends, but they're also still making FIFA, and they chose not to delay Battlefield 2042, so I don't know what to really think anymore. I don't want to totally write off the project just because EA's in charge, but I have a gut feeling that the publisher is going to do everything they can to milk Black Panther dry due to the character's popularity. Now, granted, Square Enix recently flopped hard with Marvel Avengers, so it's totally possible, maybe, that EA takes notes and tries to be a little more careful, but you just don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. Now, I will say, I'm glad Marvel is apparently shopping around with the publishers instead of just selling exclusive game rights to one company. Gamers worldwide were pretty furious when EA snatched up the exclusive rights to Star Wars a while ago, so I'm at least happy to see that Marvel is allowing multiple publishers to work on their IP. So, let's hope EA treats the material with a little more respect than Square Enix did. So, now let's get into the details of what kind of game this could actually be. According to Jeff Grubb, the game is currently codenamed Project Rainier, named after Mount Rainier in Washington, and will be a single-player open-world RPG. The story will more or less be similar to the upcoming Wakanda Forever in the sense that the original Black Panther will have recently passed away before the game's beginning, and the player's character will take up the mantle. Now, it's unclear if you'll be playing as T'Challa or a custom character, perhaps a new character entirely, but when the game starts out, you will be the new Black Panther and have to fill the shoes of the previous one while also trying to keep Wakanda safe. Now, the open world map will presumably be Wakanda itself, although it's unclear if it will be the MCU version, a previous comic version, or an entirely new interpretation of it. Personally, I don't think this game is going to be MCU canon unless it's somehow tied to the multiverse, because getting all the actors' likenesses would be a complete nightmare for the developers, but hey, you never know. So I think it's about time we start getting some MCU games, but it wouldn't get your hopes up that this is it. Black Panther is a beloved character, and obviously the MCU is going to make bank no matter what's done, but with the franchise as acclaimed as Black Panther, directly tying the game into the movies would probably draw some unfavorable comparisons. So I'm expecting this to be similar to the original version of the Wakanda story that might have some kind of multiverse connection in the MCU, but definitely not part of the main timeline if you ask me. Now, journalists have started pointing out that EA is likely going to capitalize on the success of their single-player Star Wars games by using that exact same strategy with Marvel, and since Monolith Productions has experience with open-world RPGs in fantastical settings, this seems like a perfect match. Assuming EA shows restraint with microtransactions and DLC models, we'll see, they would be able to bankroll pretty much whatever the developers want to do, and since this group of developers has a ton of large-scale RPG experience already, this theoretically could be an absolutely incredible game. Now, I'm doing my best here to manage my expectations because I know how easily EA can get ahead of themselves and start shoving microtransactions everywhere, but assuming they fund this project the same way they funded Respawn's Star Wars games, we could be in for a great game. Like I said earlier, it's believed that this game is still in early development, so I wouldn't expect a formal announcement even this year probably. Open world RPGs, they take a long time to make, especially when they're brand new and not sequels or spin-offs, which we don't get very often anymore. Now the devs, they're going to have to make all these assets from the ground up. They're going to have to come up with crazy side quests and unlockables and secrets and Easter eggs and storylines and DLC, so don't expect to get your hands on this game anytime soon. If I were to predict, we're going to do one of those official video game leaks predictions here, I would say you're not going to get this game for 2 to 3 years. And quite honestly, that may be even a little generous. It may be 2 to 4 years. So just keep that in mind. But if it ends up being something fantastic, it'll stand the test of time. I mean, look, we're in a really good spot with superhero video games. And we've come from really bad places with superhero video games. Spider-Man was absolutely amazing. Spider-Man 2 is probably going to be even better. The Wolverine game is probably going to be absolutely amazing. Guardians of the Galaxy was not a bad game. It really, really wasn't. So I feel like we're trending up. And then if we do get a Black Panther game that is in the same vein and the same love is put into it that we've seen from Spider-Man and what's coming from Insomniac, it's a good time to be a superhero fan, especially if you're a video game fan. So to recap, it looks like this Black Panther game is happening. We have a direct link to a developing studio who has a ton of experience with open world RPGs, which is promising. The only if card is EA. And like I said, they've been trying to clean up their act in the last couple years, so if they continue along the same vein they did with the Star Wars and Respawn Entertainment, I'm not talking about Battlefront 2, this could be the formula for a really, really awesome Black Panther experience, and that universe, that franchise is rich and ready to do something amazing, especially if it's a true open world RPG. If it's actually open world and we can explore basically anywhere around Wakanda, that's going to be really cool. We'll keep you guys posted if anything new comes. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have those notifications fully turned on because you never know what new leaks and rumors we're going to drop on the daily. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.